Hello everyone, welcome to Rainbow Infinity. Today I'll be reading DougtheLoremaster's Why Sugarcube Corner No Longer Sells Muffins. If you like the reading, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please enjoy. Chapter 1. Muffin? Twilight Sparkle, the alicorn princess of friendship, stood before a gray Pegasus mare at Sugarcube Corners. Normally a male mare, Derpy had been asked by Pinky to help her add pizzazz to the menu to bring in customers. In Ponyville, no pony could make a muffin like Derpy. The breakfast lovers had flocked to the small shop in order to get their hooves on some of her delicious muffins. It wasn't just ponies either. Dragons, griffins. Once the word got out that Derpy was serving breakfast, every creature wanted to get their paws or claws on them. Muffin? Once more, Derpy asked the question, causing Twilight to shake her head as if she had been in a trance. Oh, sweet Celestia, I'm sorry, Derpy. I was just smelling the delicious aroma of your muffins. Derpy smiled happily. She liked when ponies complimented her muffins. That smile, though, soon turned to a frown, as Twilight continued sounding almost distressed. I would truly love one of your muffins, but I'm a bit hesitant to order one. Derpy's frown became a glare of anger. Were her muffins not good enough? Just how picky was this princess? Twilight noticed her glare and spoke hurriedly, in order to clear up the misunderstanding. It's not anything you've done. It's just that every time I sit down lately to enjoy a breakfast from the heart, I am interrupted by some end-of-the-world emergency. Derpy's eyes softened as she listened to Twilight explain the most recent occurrence. Sitting at Applejack's table, Twilight waited hungrily. Eagerly she awaited the treat for the past week. Here you go, Twi. Applejack carefully placed a stack of 6 fluffy pancakes, dripping with fresh maple syrup. My specialty. Melt in your mouth, hot off the griddle, made from scratch apple pancakes. Twilight raised the fork on her right, using her magic, and slowly sliced off a piece, dripping with bright amber. The smell tantalized her nostrils. She could tell she was going to love this. Just as she was about to take that first bite, though, with the morsel mere centimeters from her open muzzle, Celestia appeared. Having teleported to the house, she spoke in a rushed manner of urgency. No time to eat. You have to save Equestria. Twilight spread her hooves as she concluded. And so I was teleported to combat, and afterwards when I went back to eat my food, I found out Granny Smith had eaten the whole thing. It was heartbreaking, and it wasn't the first time. Derpy nodded and stroked her chin with her left forehoof, deep in thought. She then smiled. She had a way to fix everything. Pointing at the aromatic blueberry muffin on the counter, Derpy spoke in a sage voice. Muffin time. Twilight looked confused. Derpy, I don't understand. What do you mean muffin time? Derpy picked up the muffin and passed it to Twilight on a plate, and pointed at a nearby empty table. Her voice was calm and offered no room for debate. Muffin time. Oh, okay. Do I owe you anything? Derpy shook her head and produced 2 bits, which she placed in the register. She simply repeated her words once more, pointing at the table, yet again. Muffin time. Twilight expressed her gratitude and made her way to the table in question. Thank you, Derpy. Sitting down, she eagerly picked up the warm, moist blueberry muffin and opened her mouth when a bright flash of light appeared. Celestia, Royal Princess of the Sun, stood beside her, and as Twilight sat with her muffin just millimeters from her first bite, Celestia spoke. Twilight, Celestia found a gray hoof firmly pressed against her muzzle, as the gray Pegasus before her shook her head, and pointed at the muffin in Twilight's hooves. Her voice was firm. Muffin time. Celestia shook her muzzle free of the hoof and glared at Derpy. What do you think you are doing? Derpy calmly shook her head and spoke the same 2 words. Muffin time. Celestia reached for the muffin and found her hoof grabbed by Derpy. Once again, Derpy said the same 2 words, this time more forceful. Muffin time. Twilight took a bite of the muffin and sat there munching happily on her breakfast, as Celestia glared at Derpy. The end of the world is nigh, and you are worried about eating muffins. Have you lost your mind? Derpy calmly pulled on Celestia's hoof, indicating she should follow. Celestia was not amused. I do not have time for this. Ponyville and all of Equestria will be destroyed if we do not do anything. Derpy did not stop tugging on the hoof, and so Celestia followed the mare over to the counter. Fine, hurry up. What is it? What do you want? Reaching below the counter, Derpy pulled out a banana nut muffin. Her voice was joyful as she offered it to Celestia. Muffin time! Celestia stared in disbelief at the gray mare. We do not have time for... Derpy smiled and passed her the muffin. Free of charge. Celestia's eyes went wide as she stood there, staring at the odd mare. Sipping a cup of rosemary tea, Celestia took another bite of the banana nut muffin. She sounded rather pleased. "Oh, yes. I can see why you wanted me to try this. These muffins are amazing." As Celestia swallowed her bite, Twilight stared at her. "What was it you needed from me?" Celestia raised a hoof to her chin and thought for a few moments. Shrugging, she said, "I forgot. Well, whatever it was, it couldn't possibly be more important than these muffins, I am sure." Twilight nodded happily and raised a hoof. "Derpy, can we have 6 more over here, please?" Derpy brought over a fresh tray of warm muffins and smiled at how much the princesses loved her muffins. Outside the small shop, buildings had been reduced to rubble. The screams of frightened ponies could be heard, and the sirens from the Wonderbolts dispatched to defend the area blared. Across the landscape, forests had been turned to ash, and rivers had been emptied of their water. Mountains had been leveled as far as the eye could see. Sitting in the booth, completely unaware, Celestia and Twilight picked out a new muffin apiece. Laughing, Twilight spoke. "For sure." Thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Until next time, stay tuned.